This clip effectively demonstrates why we are utterly kidding ourselves if we think the Palestinian cause is about any kind of legitimate grievance, like wanting statehood or self-determination or human rights. From the very beginning, it has been about a religious, ideological battle against the Jews, an Islamist motive. And if you don't understand this, you will never resolve the conflict. You'll live forever in the delusion that two-state solutions and all those other things we hear about will resolve this. It won't. This is a journalist who spoke to Gazans directly and spoke to someone that tried to kill Jews, and Israel treated her. I'm just going to let you listen to the story for yourself, and I'll see you on the other side.
2012, I'm a foreign correspondent for Fox. And, normally when you're based in Jerusalem, you're covering suicide bombings, you're covering protests in the West Bank or riots in the West Bank, on and on and on. Because of the Arab Spring, I really hadn't spent that much time in Israel. And the Palestinian-Israeli conflict was not a thing those years. There had been a couple Gaza skirmishes, but there was the Gilad Shalit deal where there was an Israeli soldier who had been held hostage and traded from Gaza to Israel for 1,000 Gazan prisoners.
Including Sinwar.
Including Sinwar. And including a woman named Wafa. And Wafa had been a woman in the West Bank, a woman in Gaza. She had pulled a pot of boiling water over herself when she was like 5 or 6 years old. The Israelis treat most of the people out of Gaza who have really horrific burns, catastrophic medical injuries. She goes back to Gaza after being treated for 4 or 5 years in Israel, but has a pass to get in and out of Israel, which very few people in Gaza did at the time. So she gets recruited to be a suicide bomber. This is in the Second Intifada, so mid-2000s. And there's the video of her coming to the checkpoint to get into Israel wearing her suicide vest. And she'd been given 3 target options by the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade: a bus, a cafe, or the hospital that had treated her and saved her life. She chose the hospital that had treated her and saved her life. She gets to the checkpoint. They discover that she has a bomb, or they really think she does. She tries to detonate it. It doesn't go off. She gets thrown in jail. Again, the Israelis treat her. They help her with her burns. They educate her. They give her a college degree. And now in the Gilad Shalit deal, she goes back to Gaza. So I go to Gaza to interview her, thinking this is going to be a redemption story. It was before Christmas, right? That she's going to say,
perfect Christmas story.
I am going to be the one to try and forge peace, and I believe in peace, and I've seen that the Israelis are not evil, that I don't want to kill them anymore. Fine. So I get into Gaza, and I bring with me an iPad that has the video of her trying to blow herself up. So we're sitting across from each other like this. She's wearing a hijab in a very junky Gazan apartment. It is an awful place in every sense of the word. And I show her the video. And I said, what are you thinking watching this? And she goes, oh, has all this reaction. And she goes, I'm thinking I almost tasted paradise. Okay. Would you do it again? Absolutely, in a minute. This is my calling in life. I said, wait a second. These people treated you in all of your burns. They saved your life. You tried to blow them up. They still treated you. They educated you. And now you have a chance at life back here in Gaza. And you'd want to blow them up. And she goes, absolutely. They are the infidels. They are evil. They are the enemy. I can't remember what the exact translation was. And that's when my mind was made up about sort of the moral clarity of the Israeli-Palestinian debate. Are the Israelis perfect? No, but that's what they're up against.
So there you go. Clear as day. And if you don't understand that this kind of ideology and worldview is rampant among Arabs in Gaza and Judea and Samaria, then you are living with your head buried deep in the sand. So the question therefore becomes, if that's what this has always been about killing Jews, about letting Islam dominate and reign throughout the Middle East, including in the Jewish people's homeland, and the threat that the renewed Jewish sovereign state poses to Islam, and that being why They target Jews because they need to reassert their supremacy and dominance over Jews. If you don't understand that that's what this is all about, you'll never get to the bottom of this conflict. So then the question becomes, if this is what's motivating the whole Palestinian cause, how do you deal with it? Some people say, well, the solution must be education. And that's very nice. And the ultimate solution to Islamic extremism is going to have to be an internal change done through re-education and all that stuff. But I don't think that's something we can superimpose on them. We can certainly teach people that want to listen the Jewish way, the way of life and decency, but we can't guarantee our security on the hope that we can change them. That's just my view. I wouldn't risk my family's security on that hope. Would you? So then it means that we have to say a different line to the world and to them, which is that we're no longer indulging in the two-state solution delusion, the two-state delusion, and instead we're going to have to look at a very different resolution to this. Israel's going to have to be the Jewish people's home from the river to the sea, not just from a security standpoint, but after 100 years of trying to indulge in the Palestinian state concept, I don't see anyone that has a claim even near as close as the Jewish people do to this land. So then the question becomes, what are we going to do with these people who have chosen time and again to wage a genocidal war against the Jews? I would suggest looking at some kind of remigration plan that says to them, for our sake as well as your sake, maybe it's time to move to another part of the Arab world, the land of which is 100 times the size of Israel and to which you are indigenous to. So go find somewhere else to live and go in peace, because you have shown that as a society you are not willing to live alongside us or next to us or with us. What other solution is there? They could stay there and remain second-class citizens, but unfortunately, we've seen that when they are in our midst, they as a society choose violence and genocide against us over and over again. So for their sake, as well as ours, maybe it'd be better for them to live in another part of the world where they don't feel that they are leading the front against the Jewish state and the Jews. We've tried statehood for them. That's what Gaza was. And we saw what it led to. So are we going to confront the elephant in the room? Are we going to actually give our opponents the respect of listening to what they say and taking it seriously and believing them? We're seeing here in this story that Israel, because of its decency and light and humanity, keeps saying, okay, you choose evil and darkness, we're going to give you light, we're going to look after you, we're going to feed you, we're going to heal you, and we're going to hope that that will change your mind about us, but it doesn't. Noble as that may seem, I think sometimes we conflate being kind to the cruel as some kind of moral decency. I wonder if that might be a bit of a Christian morality. Because the Talmud is clear. It says if you are kind to the cruel, you will end up being cruel to the kind. That is the definition of what has happened with Gaza and how we treat our enemies and how we do things which we think is going to be, will lead to de-radicalization, lead to peace and a calming of tensions. What's the word they love to use in the West? De-escalation. But actually all it does is allow the problem to fester. So we need to have a very serious look at the whole way that we've been approaching this issue for 100 years now, because it's not working. And the definition of insanity, as we all know, is trying the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome.
A quick message before we finish. We have been lied to about the Palestinians from beginning till end.
Have a watch of the trailer for our new documentary called The Invention of the Palestinians, How a Nation Was Invented to Destroy Another. And if you want to watch the full thing, just click on the link in the video description. The Palestinians. We have been told they are an ancient people fighting for their homeland which has been stolen from them. This narrative has fueled decades of conflict, painting Israel as an occupier of stolen land. But what if this identity is not of an ancient nation, but a modern, cynical invention? A political construct designed not to build a state, but to dismantle the Jewish one. In this JTV Plus documentary, we're going to uncover the truth behind the creation of the Palestinian identity, how it was forged in the fires of pan-Arabism, absent in historical records until strategically rebranded in the 1960s by leaders like Egyptian-born Yasser Arafat to rally global opposition against Israel. We'll trace its roots from the Ottoman era, where Palestine was a region without a distinct people, through the pre-1948 years of Arab rejectionism, before focusing on the pivotal shift of the 1960s, when Arafat declared we should now be known as Palestinians, inventing symbols like the flag to mask genocidal aims. This wasn't about self-determination, it was about exploiting refugees, suppressing true aspirations under Arab rule, and perpetuating a war to destroy Israel. Join us as we debunk the myths of an ancient Palestinian nation, expose the strategic manipulation, and reveal how this construct has hindered peace while fueling hate. Fair but firm, this is the story of an identity weaponized, not for building a future, but for erasing one. To watch this JTV Plus documentary and access much more premium content, click on the link in the video description.